So we're here today to talk about wet suppressors. So Brock, we have a B&T suppressor. I'll hand that over to you. It actually came on what we know as the Welrod. It was right at the beginning of World War II. It's actually a bolt action, mag-fed 9mm pistol. My category for this is special use suppressor. Maximum suppression, no action noise, right? You could lock the bolt, fire the weapon, and you didn't have a piece of brass hitting the ground, so you didn't leave something behind for the enemy to find, or someone that you didn't want to find the brass. So you could actually unload it in a safe place or a different area, or catch it, or whatever you wanted. You got controlled release of your brass. So I think that's another cool feature about the Welrod. What's limitations on a special use suppressor, i.e. Welrod and this B&T can?
Well, in this case, and some other manufacturers, like the Aurora, for instance, things like that, cans that use wipes. That's how they originally designed. It was a leather wipe. This little guy in the end here. But you're limited to full metal jacket. If you try to shoot a hollow point through this, you're not going to have that much fun.
Yeah, it'll open up on the inside of the can, and definitely not have any accuracy if it even makes it out, right?
Right, yeah. But you're going to shoot those out in, say, a mag. Your wipes are shot out, and then you have to rebuild this thing, which a wipe is considered a suppressor part.
According to ATF, at least.
According to ATF, yeah. So there's some hoops to jump through there. It's not real easy to just rebuild it and go back out.
Another one for me was the fact that my accuracy and my range that I want to fire the weapon gets extremely close. So when I think Welrod, I think offense, which is great, right? This is an offensive weapon. I'm going to carry out something. I'm going there to do something specific. Where we find ourselves a lot of time, stateside, carrying concealed carry, this is more of a defensive weapon. I'm carrying it in defense of something. I'm not out actively looking for something. But if something pops off, now I have something to defend myself and others with. So in that case, that's where, and I'm also not, I don't have to worry about Geneva Conventions and full metal jackets, things like that. Now I can actually carry defense ammo, hollow point ammo, high powered ammo, and that would be the reason I would not want wipes. I also want as much standoff as possible in a defensive scenario. I'm not actively going in and trying to snuff someone off and keep the brass.
Right.
I'm trying to keep them off of me, break contact, and get out of the area. That is why we came up with items like the CCX, and then we'll get into the SBSX here a little later with the shotgun. Those are the reasons we went without wipes. So we kind of went over the Welrod, history of it, special purpose 9mm pistol suppressor package, right? Then we just kind of move into modern day carry. What we see out there in the field, most of the people that I interact with are all carrying a 9mm pistol of some length. That's the 90 to 95%, I feel like. And they're carrying it for defensive reasons, as we talked about when we were developing this, is drawing that pistol and going to work with it and having no suppressor. That was the issue, right? Or having a muzzle brake or comp or something on the end of these. And in that scenario, we all know there's no time for any hearing protection. In that scenario, we know a lot of times you'll be indoors in a vehicle, and if you've ever fired a 9mm indoors in a vehicle with defense ammo or hot ammo unsuppressed, it's loud, and it's not how we train. It's when we're out at the range, we have hearing protection in, we're very calm and collected, we're outdoors. It's not the scenario we're going to typically use a defense weapon in. So we came up with the CCX. CCX is a booster-free, extremely lightweight suppressor. To get the decibel levels where we wanted them, you really need to kind of do that crossover. Now you're in that special purpose use. So this brings us back to special purpose use. This is obviously it's a give and take. To be this small, this light, this concealable, it's not gonna sound like a full-size suppressor.
Right.
So there's ways to get there though, and that is shooting them wet, shooting them with wipes. Those are the ways you can bridge the gap. So for us, we like to shoot it wet, and we can show you how to apply. Some petroleum jelly is what we recommend. It's a pre-pack thing. We have just some petroleum jelly over here and some Q-tips, and we can kind of just demonstrate about how much we like to put on there, how we like to apply it.
You said you like to come in this side and just swirl it around, huh?
I do. I like to come in from that side. The other way you could do it is on the front, and you could show them that way as well. It just is quicker and cleaner because you put the Q-tip inside and you just swirl it around.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to do it internally.
Whereas the outside, it's kind of, you kind of got to dab it on, things like that. So seems to go quicker, a little cleaner.
Yeah, it is, and it doesn't take a lot. I mean,
yeah, I feel like that's definitely adequate. And again, you just kind of do this as you're cleaning your firearm. That's when I like to do it. I'll pull down, like in this case, my Glock, I'll pull it down and clean the weapon, re-lube, and I'll do the pistol can at the same time. Tear it down, re-lube, repack, put it together, and then stow it. It's ready to go. So CCX, special purpose suppressor, used primarily for concealed carry, truck gun, bedside gun, used to defend yourself or your family members, people around you. That was the primary mission behind it. It ships wet from JK. We ship it wet. We kind of talked about it a little. It usually lasts around 1 magazine before it burns out the petroleum jelly. So you're gonna get 1 solid mag, depending on ammo type, barrel length. There's some different factors there. But that's how we're shipping it. Do you need to shoot it wet?
It's optional. Yeah, it's optional. It's a better performance, but you don't have to have it.
Yeah, we have lots of guys just shooting them dry, and they just want to knock that edge off, and it's achieving that as well. So, all right, so we're going to talk about our other special purpose suppressor. This is the SBSX. This is our short tactical breaching shotgun suppressor that we use. Again, kind of some of the things you'll notice, I mean, kind of right out of the gate, it's not much bigger than this 9mm suppressor. So that also gets us into that category, into achieving maximum suppression in a very small size, very short configuration. What we found with shotgun suppressors was to make them practical for everyday use. Really, the market's telling us and asking for a short, lightweight option. So there's a few ways to achieve that. We spent a lot of time on our baffle technology, our flow technology. This one's the high flow baffle specifically. And to get everything we could out of this suppressor was make the suppressor wet. So this is another suppressor that ships wet from JK. This is one of 2. We only ship 2 wet, the CCX and our shotgun suppressors. So again, to apply petroleum jelly to it, you'll see how it comes. It does come with some in there. Go ahead, Brock.
This one came right out of the assembly room, but it's the same thing. Get your jelly on there and swirl it around. It doesn't take a heck of a lot. But it is also worth mentioning on the shotgun suppressor, this lasts way longer.
We're seeing about 2 boxes.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah, we're seeing up to 2 full boxes before repacking.
Yeah.
And it's an anomaly. It's something we didn't know about till we've been out experiencing it. Where, like we talked CCX, you're usually getting about a magazine, which is, 15, 17 rounds, depending on what you're carrying. Where the shotgun, we're getting upwards of 50, which is nice for repacking reasons. So
it's a full day of hunting though. You're not, you lube that thing up, go out in the field, and you're good to go.
Yeah, you're not having to reapply so often. So when Brock was applying the petroleum jelly earlier on the inside, wiping it, a big secondary reason we like to shoot wet, and we go to a lot of shows as JK Armament, we shoot a lot, do a lot of testing, high round counts, and we really like cleaning our wet suppressors because they have lube on them, and that's been, well, what we talk about, it's like putting oil on the cookie sheet before you cook cookies, or greasing the pan before you throw a burger on it. It doesn't stick.
Right.
So by just applying it on the inside and not applying it on this front, you can coat both sides. But if you put it on this inside, what we find, as soon as you fire that first round, it spreads all over all the baffles. So it's really not a requirement to wipe it on both sides. It will self-applicate, I guess, basically throughout the entire suppressor. All these things, we're trying to hit a new area, short, light, practical, with getting the most out of it you can. And that was the mission of these suppressors.